video in a while, but I wanted to make one about something I've seen on the internet. A lot of people talking about it. A little different than our vlogs that we've been doing, but I have a theory, and I'd like to get my theory out there. She didn't know I was going to do this, so she's all baffled. I was watching The Trucking Coach. I just found his channel, and I think it was him anyways. Anyway, somebody out there on one of these channels was talking about how they want to know why these big companies won't crack down and... No, sorry. You know who it was? It was Lil Dawg. He was talking about why these big companies won't crack down on these legislators and get them to fight against these new ELDs, and because all these drivers are sleeping on the sides of roads and stuff like that. I have a theory on that. And the theory on that is the same thing we're doing right here. Big companies for the last 5-6 years have been pushing teams. They want teams. They're trying to hire teams. They want to put people in team trucks together. Now think about this for a second. If they do not fight this ELD stuff and allow it to keep escalating to where it has now, and if not even farther, that's going to push team trucks. There's already companies out there that are going teams all the time. You know, a lot of cattle haulers back home where we're at, they haul cows and stuff like that. They are hauling pigs and stuff like that. They are putting 2 guys in a truck to combat the ELDs, so that way they don't have to stop that product from moving. So my theory on this is, and I could be wrong, I could be 100% wrong, but I think the reason why you will not see these mega carriers like Swifts and Warners and JB Hunts and Schneiders, you will not see them complain one bit about these ELDs for 2 reasons. The first reason is because they know it's going to force teams. It's just going to. We don't ever have to worry about stopping. We never have to worry about finding a place to sleep. We never have to worry about none of that because we're constantly moving. The only thing we have to worry about is finding a place out of the way that we can take a 30-minute break. That's it. That's the only thing we have to worry about. Other than that, we don't have to worry about sleeping in truck stops. We don't have to worry about none of that. And it's not only because our company finds places that allows us to sleep at the shippers and receivers. It has nothing to do with that. We just run a team truck, so we constantly are moving. We don't have to worry about stopping and sleeping somewhere for 10 hours. Do I think a lot of these states need to reopen a lot of these rest areas and they need to put new rest areas in? 100%. These solo guys need places to sleep. These truck stops are not big enough for the capacity of drivers that they're putting out on the road today. There's just no doubt about it that truck stops are not big enough for that situation. And that's why you see a lot of guys parking on ramps and parking in rest areas, and you see them literally lined right up and down the side of the road because they have to stop. And you'll hear them say, well, that's because it's bad planning. Well, not necessarily. A lot of it has to do with your dispatchers and your planners still trying to run their system the old-fashioned way, where you have just enough time to make it to where you're going. With this new ELD and stuff like that, if you're running solo, they can't do that anymore. They're not going to be able to do that anymore. They're going to have to give you more time to get to where you're going. And a lot of freight in the past years before this ELD mandate came into effect, if you notice, a lot of places were doing just-in-time freight. Even your mega Walmarts and stuff like that, everything was just in time. And they don't want to get off that just-in-time platform because it saves them money. They don't have to store it as long. They don't have to employ as many people. It saves the big companies money. So you're not going to see these mega carriers change their approach on stuff, because if you really want to know the truth about it, they really don't care. because it's feeding into what they want. They want teams. These mega carriers out here, they don't want solo drivers. They hire solo drivers because they got no choice, but they want the teams because the teams make them more money. And that's why you see them allowing guys to train after 4 months of being over the road, which is ridiculous. If you don't have 2 years over the road experience, I don't think you need to be training. Minimum 2 years. And even then, I don't think there's enough time. I mean, I've done it. I'm not going to say that I haven't trained and only been out on the road for a year or whatever, but there's just it's a whole different breed coming in, and a lot of these mega carriers, they don't want solo trucks. Solo trucks don't make them no money. So you're going to see a lot of companies, and they're doing it now. I mean, I see them all the time. There's $5,000 sign-on bonuses for solo drivers, $10,000 sign-on bonuses for team trucks, paying 60 cents a mile for a team truck, 70 cents a mile for a team truck. We get emails all the time, you know, companies that we've worked for before and stuff like that, you know, and we tell them that we team, just kind of hear what they have to say. We're not going to go nowhere anytime soon, just to hear what they have to say. And, you know, they're always offering, I think on average, I've seen even online, between 60 and 80 cents for a team truck. But there's other factors in it. That's creepy. There was a pumpkin painted silver on a fence post back there. That was creepy. But you know, you're not gonna see. You gotta weigh your options. You know, and you know, there's guys out there and girls out there that drive trucks and say, I'll never team. Well, I can honestly say I've been in this business for 7 years, which ain't a long time. And just in the short time that I've been in this business, a lot of companies have pushed that team. They want the teams. They want people to team more than anything else. More than anything else, they've pushed teams. You know, do I think teams are bad? No, if you can find a good person to team with. But a lot of problem is being in less than 100 square feet of space with another person is hard. And it's going to cause a lot of issues with a lot of companies and a lot of guys. You know, they don't want to be in that truck with another person. So, but that's my theory on that. You know, the two reasons is they're not going to stop this ELD mandate because it's going to push teams. It's going to give them what they've been wanting for years. It's team trucks, because that's the only way they're going to push freight as fast as they want to push freight. And the other reason why you won't see them fight it is because they still stuck in that old mindset of we need to have just-in-time freight, you know. And nowadays, the way the ELDs are going and solo trucks, you can't do just-in-time freight anymore. You know, when you didn't have to have a computer log, you didn't have to worry about it, you know. You could just get there when you needed to get there. And see, a lot of these big companies also, your Swifts and your Warners and your JB Hunts and Schneiders and stuff like that, they've been running e-logs for years already. They've had them. I mean, the first company I worked for 7 years ago was, one of them was Warner. When I started 7 years ago, Warner's been doing e-logs since the 90s, you know, so they've kind of have that. I mean, they've been training their guys on that for 10 plus years, you know, even longer than that probably. So to them, this e-log mandate is nothing. They've been doing it for years. Nothing's changed. But you're going to see a lot of these smaller fleets, you know, say 65 trucks or lower. It's going to be hard for them here in the next couple of years to find freight and keep freight moving, because they're not going to want to team guys up, or they're not going to find guys that want to team. So, but that's my thought on that, is that why you don't see big companies fighting against this ELD mandates. They don't, for one, they don't care. For two, it's giving them what they want. They want team trucks. They don't want solo trucks anymore. And three, they're not losing any money. They're not. You know, how many times you've been repowered, stuff like that. So they're not losing any money. Y'all be good, be safe, keep the dirty side down, and I'll catch you on the next time.